Hi everyone, it's Sunday and it's time to talk about a few good things. Hi everyone, welcome to Good Things and welcome to the week. We're so glad to have you join us. Again, I am your host, Kenosha, and I am joined by my fabulous and beautiful and amazing co-host, Miss
Leah
and
Britt.
Hi guys.
What an intro.
I know. Well, I have to do that. We're just fabulous that way. But we are very excited to share with you today. We are on location, as you can tell. We're normally in the studio at WLVS Radio and Listen Vision Live Studios in DC. But today, we are bringing you a treat because we are here at Green Fair Cafe in Herndon, Virginia. And we're going to share with you some amazing things that they have to offer for you to treat not only your insides, but your outsides as well. So we cannot wait for you to get a glimpse at everything that we have to share. But before we do, how are you guys doing? How's your week?
That was good. It was so good. I mean, I'm super excited to be here.
I know. Well, and anyone who knows, we've talked about this a little bit on the show.
She's a vegan.
Leah is a vegan, and Green Fair is I don't know if they call themselves a vegan cafe, but it is a plant-based
menu.
Plant-based menu.
Yes.
And so we're going to get into that a little bit because I think it's important too for us to kind of educate everyone on what that means. And there's a lot of people that are trying to understand how they can begin to fit that into their diets and maybe transition a little bit, even if not 100%. But I think the education behind it is important.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are so unclear and they think that it has to be such a drastic transition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Green Fair has a really great program to really introduce you into the benefits in an easy way. So you're not feeling overwhelmed. You're not looking at a menu and going, I don't know what half of those ingredients are on that list. I've never eaten them in my life.
Right.
So how could I possibly go vegan?
Well, and I think too that a lot of people have a fear about something that they don't know about, or if they, like you said, if they can actually place it into their day-to-day diet.
There's like so much conversation around veganism right now that there's almost like a stigma to that word.
I agree.
So personally, I love that Green Fair Organic
You know what my
Cafe.
favorite stigma is though? Is
where do you get your protein?
No, that's not my favorite. My favorite is vegans don't shower.
I've not heard that.
I've not heard that one
either.
either.
That I shower.
We're going to
She
explore
smells
that.
fine, guys.
I don't know. It's a little warm in here. Most of the time I smell okay though.
Well, we're going to answer a lot of those questions, and we're also going to talk to the owner, Miss Wynn, and we're going to find out everything that you may want to know, not only about veganism and maybe going into a plant-based diet, but we're going to talk about Green Fair. We're going to talk about how it got started, how it got here, what they have to offer, everything that's here. It is a treat. And we're going to also give you a glimpse into something that they call their 21-day Kickstart program. And we're going to give you a little bit of insight with some people who have already started. And we're going to learn about their journey thus far and where they hope to go. So all this and more when Good Things returns. We'll be right back. welcome back to Good Things. If you're just joining us, then you'll be happy to know, well, one, you probably already can figure out, we're not in the studio today, and we are on location at Green Fair Cafe in Herndon, Virginia. And we are very excited to be here, and we're very excited to be joined by our special co-host for the day. And we're going to give you some insight to where we are, why we're here, and what they've got to offer.
Absolutely. So, sitting to my left, our lovely fourth co-host tonight, Miss Gwen Whitaker, who is the founder and owner of Green Fair in Herndon. So they just celebrated their 2-year anniversary. Yay! So they have actually been open since November 1st. And actually, which I just learned, November 1st is actually International Vegan Day. Yes. So what a special day to open an amazing restaurant.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having Good Things.
Yes, thank you for coming out to visit. It's the first time we've had 3 beauty queens. That's great.
Well, we can usually get Brit out here if there's like some inkling of food.
Feed me.
It smells so good in here, you guys. You have no idea.
It smells good.
We're salivating.
It tastes even better than it smells.
It does taste really good.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much have dessert here and it's guilt-free.
Yeah.
I say it's guilt-free. I don't know if that's actually the case. But
that makes us feel better.
Yeah.
Right?
Food that gives you energy makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It might not be calorie-free, but it's definitely good for you.
There you go.
It's made of like all the right stuff.
There you go.
So, Gwen, tell us about kind of where did Green Fair come from? How did we get here?
So I was not from the restaurant business. I was actually in the IT business for 35 years, and I watched a film called Forks Over Knives that opened my eyes about diet and health. And so I ended up working with T. Colin Campbell from Forks Over Knives a couple of years ago. He did a project with me where we had 45 people change their diet for just 10 days. And it was so dramatic, the changes that people went through, that I decided to open a restaurant.
Wow. That's incredible. So can you tell us a little bit more about, so we're here at Green Fair, and you guys will be able to see there's a lot of everything, and you're very big on educating in it. Like you said, you started Green Fair as a result of a documentary that you saw. So can you talk a little bit about, what is the plant-based diet? Where did the menu from Green Fair come from? And things like that?
Sure. So we're an organic restaurant first, which is pretty important. We're one of 6 organic certified restaurants in the country, which is a big deal.
It's hard to get that certification.
It's an oasis. Absolutely. It was a 1.5 years to get that certification. And a plant-based diet is things are in their whole form. So it's fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, and legumes. So categories of food that people have been eating for years without and feeling good from eating that. And in the United States today, there's so much emphasis on processed food and so much emphasis on animal products. So when you take those things out, a lot of people actually recover their health and lose weight, regain energy, sleep better. So it's very dramatic from a health perspective.
How do you get someone who, and I will say this because I attest to be probably one of the finicky eaters that I probably know. I always say, the rest of my family has such a broad palate. I'm originally from the Midwest, and although I'm not a huge meat eater and never have been, I am one of those people who tend to eat the same things over and over and over again, whether it be vegetables, anything. I just kind of eat the same thing.
You don't like a lot of condiments, right?
None. I'm plain Jane all the way around. However, I think as I've gotten older, I've kind of included certain things in my diet because of the necessity to. But for those people who are maybe, just a little timid because they're worried about, are they going to have something that they like to eat? Yeah. So, and I always think that that's probably the largest hump to me to get. I think it's great though that this is a cafe and a restaurant, because I think sometimes it's easier when something is prepared for you that maybe you've never had. But how do you have people that come in that ask you about that, or how have you been able to tackle that?
So it's interesting that it's not necessarily about what you eat, but what you don't eat. It's when you take things out of your diet that are causing harm, that's when we really see people start to regenerate. It's Pretty amazing, the effects of just 1 week on plant-based diet. It's skin, sleep, energy, weight. So a lot of things really start to change. So the restaurant is actually more about education, and the goal is if people come here and say, I love this food, I could eat like this every day, then we teach them why and show them how to do that.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. Yeah.
So the 21-day program actually has 43 different meals that we offer. So people come for a class and a lecture on why plant-based, how to do dry saute, which is oil-free cooking, quick and easy meals. We do a label reading class and a shopping trip. And during that time, you're getting 43 different meals.
Oh, wow.
So you're guaranteed to find some that you like, and some of the recipes are very simple that you can make at home. And we have books. We have a lot of books here that help you to understand optimal health, especially athletic performance. And I think one of our Kickstarters is going to talk about his experience with this diet on his ability to run, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, that's great.
So tell us, how long have you been vegan, and kind of what, obviously what benefits have you seen, and then what have been some of your challenges or struggles throughout that process?
So for me, it's been more of a journey where I would read something and I would take something out of my diet. I'd read something about, I think, baby cows. I think I stopped eating veal. I stopped eating beef. Until I got down to fish and dairy and eggs. And I never really liked eggs.
So that was easy to just
So you get drilled into your head that you have to eat these things for protein, for calcium. And so it's all these myths that society has sort of perpetrated on us, that when you look at places around the world where they don't have the chronic illness in the United States, and they don't have people that are overweight, then it's back to what we should be eating. If you're religious, it's the Daniel diet. It was the original diet.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you touched on that, because I think that a huge thing in the way that you eat and what you eat has to do with a lot of times just where you come from or what you were taught, and it's ingrained in that sense. And I know for generations, and of course different generations have explored different things. We are privy to a little bit more education, a little bit, I guess, a little more easily, just because we have the advantage of the internet and things that we can read, and we definitely are going to touch on that, because you have an amazing collection of books and education where you can really delve into. I'm a self-researcher, and so I really like to learn about why something is the way it is. Just like you said, why is it that we feel that the only way to possibly get our protein needs were this way or that way? And I do think that is really at the root of why people maybe eat the way they do, don't eat the way they should. And so that's a huge thing. And so I think it's a wonderful thing that you offer that kind of advice as well as perspective, because I think sometimes that is the kind of the missing piece a little bit, and makes people kind of go back in their own mind and say, oh, okay, maybe that's why.
It's all about making it convenient and easy for people. So when they're going through the 21-day Kickstart program, we're giving 2 meals a day, so all they have to do is heat up the food. So while they're learning why and how to do it on their own, they don't have to think about food for 3 weeks. And the goal is, if people feel better at the end of 1 week, then it becomes a lifestyle. They want to continue it. They see weight start coming up, they start sleeping better. So a lot of changes start to happen just in one week.
That's awesome.
And we have authors that come here and do lectures. We had Dr. Robin Chutkin from DC that came a couple of weeks ago and talked about the microbiome and how what you eat is what you are, how you feel, and that your microbiome is actually more important than your genes. So it's a very empowering message. It's when you change what you're eating, then you can change your destiny.
Well, as you can see, it's kind of a one-stop shop here, because I think that along with being able to get great food,
and you can get great food that is, you can it's a sit-down restaurant, so you can order, but there's also grab and go, right?
Absolutely.
There's pre-packaged organic food that you can take home. I've done it. My husband, admittedly, he works in Herndon, and he will call me and he'll say, hey, I'm leaving work. Do you want me to go by that place and get that stuff? And I'm like,
that's the way the husband's
that's how, so he's like, do you want me to go by Green Fare? And I'm like, yeah, this time I want to try, the kale and potato, or the last time I had the mac and cheese with broccoli. I've not had a bad dish.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, Gwen, touch on, you talked about, it's about taking things out of your diet. So if you think of like Gen Pop, like general population is, they're not, they don't have a plant-based diet, they don't have a plant-based lifestyle. So take things that people like burgers or pizza or cookies, and how do you, as someone who lives a plant-based lifestyle, how do you provide alternatives to things that I like pizza, I don't want to stop eating pizza. What is your response to that?
Sure. So pizza can be great on a plant-based diet. You get a whole grain pizza crust and you layer it with tomato sauce and garlic and onions and broccoli and spinach and olives and all of the good stuff, and bake it. And that's that's
so
perfect.
good.
That's a perfect.
So good.
That's
I ordered one in my
no
fire
cheese.
grill the other day.
So it's just taking something out,
Okay.
the cheese and the oil, and using a whole grain crust instead of refined wheat, which is going to be basically highly processed.
Right.
So it's a healthful version, and when you've eaten this way for a while, it's reinforced by how good you feel after, instead of the big meal where you say, I wish I didn't do that, or
Right. You don't
I ate
feel
too
so
much.
My clothes don't
you
fit right now.
Right.
They fit 5 minutes ago before
Well,
I eat.
I want to stop everybody there because we're going to be right back. We're going to take a really quick short break, but we're going to come right back to Green Fare. But while we take this break, we're going to show you a little bit of Green Fare in this video. So take a look and you'll get a chance to hear a little bit more about Green Fare. You'll get to see this beautiful lady as well. And when we come back, we're going to actually explore a little bit about all of the things that are right here in Green Fare Cafe, and maybe we'll even get a chance to browse the menu a little bit, and and see what's there, and we'll tell you a little bit more. So all this and more when Good Things returns. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Gwen Whitaker with Green Fare Organic Cafe here in Herndon, Virginia. We are a restaurant with a purpose. Green Fare is one of 7 organic certified restaurants in the country. I opened the restaurant with the goal of allowing people to eat their way to good health with whole plant food, which is fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, and legumes. We work with local and seasonal producers of produce, so our food is going to be more nutritionally available. So Green Fare meals are free of added salt, oil, and sugar, things that get people into trouble. We actually do a 21-day Kickstart Your Health program that's done by PCRM, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. We give classes, education, and 21 days worth of meals so people can lose weight, reduce pain and inflammation, and eliminate medications. So in addition to the Kickstart, we also have lectures from doctors and nutritionists. We host documentary every month where we have dinner and a movie, and we have cooking classes. And we're trying to change the way people interact with their food through community, education, and delicious food. So come join us at Green Fare for an event and an awesome dinner.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Good Things. We are still here at the amazing Green Fare Cafe in Herndon, Virginia, and as you may have been able to tell, we have kind of lost our way a little bit because we got a little hungry smelling all of the amazing food, so we thought it was only fair that maybe we start taking a look at the menu so you guys can actually have an opportunity to experience what we're experiencing right now. And just so you know, a lot of people might think that there's not a lot of ways or things to eat that might be vegan.
Options,
limited options, a small menu. No, it's not.
It's a lengthy
It's
menu.
a lot here to eat, and we've been perusing it already.
Everything sounds good, like everything.
But Gwen, tell us one of your favorite things on the menu here and why. Other than
It's
everything.
tough. It's
I already
I
see
eat here
something I
every
want.
day,
Yes.
so it's trying to figure out what do I feel like today.
Yeah.
Today I'd probably go for the creamy potatoes and kale. It's sliced potatoes. It's got kale, and it's in a cashew cream sauce. It's awesome.
That cashew cream sauce is so yummy. And it has a little kick to it too. There's
It
kind of
does.
spice in there.
Onions, yeah.
I don't know. I have such a hard time. There's an organic barbecue jackfruit pumpkin. I mean,
That's new on the fall menu.
You guys, and you know what? It is fall. It's getting a little chilly, and nothing's better than a little chili when it's chilly.
Oh.
And all I see here is
Chili.
Yes, and I'm like, I need to eat that like right now. So yeah. But one thing that I think is amazing about this entire menu is that if I'm looking at this, literally it seems like there's something for everybody. There's hearty, there's spicy, there's savory, there's sweet, there's
Flavorful.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking at this menu thinking like, well, that's not going to taste good.
Right.
Literally, like everything. There's so many like robust ingredients, and I think again we kind of talk about like the myths about plant-based diet. It's like everything's going to be bland.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is like really strong, like powerful in terms of like
yeah.
one of my favorite things actually is at the bottom where it lists the allergens. So, which a lot of restaurants, they're getting better. But especially for people who are gluten-free or dairy-free or anything like that, when you go to a restaurant, it's so important for them to list whether something has tree nuts, whether it does have wheat or soy. You know, before the gluten craze, there actually is people who are deathly allergic to wheat, which is not the same as being gluten sensitive.
Right.
That's just something we've developed over the last couple of years.
Well, and one thing that we want to know about, and I think we're going to bring in a special person, is I think that it looks like a lot of thought and just, well, probably a lot of trial and practice like went into developing this menu. And I don't know if you guys, do you change the menu often? Is it seasonal?
It's a seasonal menu, so and local. Probably 80% of the produce comes from local, so it's 150 miles.
Oh, wow.
And our operations manager, Pericles Silver, my partner in crime, he's a sports nutritionist, and so not a chef. So all of the recipes that are on our menu were inspired by cookbooks that we have here. Wow. So you can, if you see something that you like, we can point to a cookbook so you can try to recreate it at home.
Okay, well, guess what? See, I like to cook and I love cookbooks and I like books. So guess what? I'm going to go look at a few things. I'm going to leave you here, and I think we'll talk to Pericles for just, well, you guys can talk to Pericles, right? Okay, I'll be right back.
I think I can handle it.
Yeah, Pericles, if you want to come over, I'm going to
take you back in the kitchen. You could whip us something up.
I'll just go by myself. I'll just go by myself.
So I'm thrilled that Pericles Silva could stop over and chat with us. He's the operations manager here, and I was very fortunate to meet him. Pericles has been doing this for 40 years, and can I say that?
Wait, that would make you
before he was born. He's been on this lifestyle for a very long time, and he knows a lot about food. He was at Whole Foods in Reston for 5 years and started and ran the Health Starts Here program. He's a Food for Life instructor with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, PCRM. So that's the 21-day kickstart that we do here. And he's got a degree in sports nutrition. And if you hear a lot of the professional athletes now, they're getting into plant-based nutrition. So the #1 bodybuilder, the #1 weightlifter, the Ninja Warrior, Tim Sheaf, who's got millions of followers on Twitter, is plant-based. Rich Roll, one of the top 10 fittest men in the world, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Brady. So a lot of the marathon runners have always been plant-based. And as people recognize that it's an anti-inflammation diet, then they can work out longer and recover quicker. So it becomes a lifestyle.
I overheard you earlier too. You mentioned something about the world's oldest dog.
Oh, the world's oldest dog, absolutely. The world's oldest dog was a vegan dog, a 27-year-old collie named Bramble. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
And what kind of dogs do you have, Gwen?
I have 3 Shelties. They're awesome little Shelties, and they've been plant-based for 2 years now. And the older one is off medication, and he's thriving. So it's been awesome.
My dog is plant-based as well. So I always get super excited. A lot of people think that animals are meant to be carnivores, and that's the only way that they can eat. But he's 9. And he has tons of energy since I've switched him to a plant-based diet. And he actually loves just a bowl of vegetables more than anything, which is extremely weird.
So the oldest dog in the world ate lentils, steamed vegetables, and rice. So it was,
there
and
we
he
go,
lived
right?
longer than all the dogs that
absolutely
came before him.
So it's not unlike the processed food industry for people. That you take things that you want to be good and taste good, and you turn it into something that it's not. When it's better to eat things that are in their original form.
Yeah.
So Pericles, have you been with Green Fare since the beginning?
Yes. You are sit down, I remember, at Panera's Cafe, we invited me to a talk after you did together at the Colin Couple event. And she came with this crazy idea to open a restaurant with more than a restaurant, an education center. And after 4 years in Whole Foods, doing classes, 6-7 classes per day, the big struggle I saw in people is they have the knowledge, they have all the tools except the food. Because they have to cook. They have to go home and cook. It's too stressful for them to change the diet, confrontation with the family members, plus cook separate just for them.
It's a big stressor, to go home to maybe a spouse who doesn't get it yet.
Yeah.
And so then you're expected to cook one meal, cook another meal, and then figure out what you're going to eat every night and figure out your meal plan. I mean, it is daunting when you're first starting out. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
So having the food is very important for us. As part of the Kickstart program, we have meals where people take out, and we also have a meal plan. So for convenience and ease of use, the meal plan can be ordered online, and people can pick up 7 meals. So they have great food for the rest of the week that is freshly prepared and just ready to heat up.
So how long is the Kickstart program? Tell us is there a cost involved with that, or how does everything work?
Sure. So the program is it's 21 days, and it's 4 classes that bridge the 21 days.
Okay.
And it includes meals with classes and 2 meals a day for 21 days. So the program actually includes 43 meals that are all different and all organic, and people come to class. We've had something like 400 people now go through the program.
That's amazing.
Maybe 15 medical professionals. So it's been very exciting. And my background was in the DoD space, so I've had a lot of senior people from that community actually go through our program. So one of the directors of one of the agencies, it's easy to do. We come in, it's like a date night where people come to the class and they enjoy having fun and learning, and then they take food home. So it makes their life very easy over the next 3 weeks. And people start feeling better while they're on the program, and so it tends to be a lifestyle.
So I'm glad that you mentioned the lifestyle aspect of it, because we actually do have some folks that have gone through the program, right, that are here with us, and they are going to talk about what it was like for them to go through the 21-day Kickstart program, and we'll get some before and afters in terms of, I felt this way and I looked this way, and this is what happened, right, as a result of that program. So
we'll be right back.
We're excited.
There's a lot of stuff here, and I just love all kinds of books. I love researching and self-help and just anything that you can do to better yourself and to maybe even better others around you, and just to learn more, because I think that we learn so much from each other. You talked about, actually I saw this one here, and she is a local physician here in the DMV. She's actually a physician at Georgetown University Hospital who wrote this book, The Microbiome Solution, and she was just recently here. And so this is from Dr. Robin Shutkin?
Robin Shutkin.
Shutkin. And this is actually a really great book. She actually has another book called Gut Bliss that's also available available here. There's so many books available here. And this one stood out to me. This one is actually called The Engine to 7-Day Rescue Diet. And this stood out to me. I've actually heard about this book before. It was on the New York Times bestsellers list. I have a cousin who is a firefighter back home. He's also a mixed martial artist, and he also owns a bodybuilding studio, so he's very into that. And I have lots of family members who are police officers and firefighters, and one of the things that stood out to me about this book is that this was something that in a way kind of occurred by accident. As you know, a lot of firefighters tend to do a rotation of cooking. They usually find someone who's better at it than the others. But you know, one of the things that this offered, without even going into the story, is that, you know, it's so much more than just I think sometimes feeding yourself. It's feeding your spirit, but then it's also sharing what you learned with others. And this is a great read because he talks about how he ended up being able to really transition the diets of his fellow firefighters without them even knowing he was doing it. And they were all like, oh, wow. I feel great. And I don't know why I feel great, but you know, but he was doing this through, you know, preparing meals for them and really trying to get them, as he was trying to do for himself, to be a better person as far as his diet and nutrition. But I say all that to say that there are so many resources here. What made you want to also make Green Fair a place for resources and education about, you know, nutrition?
It is about education, what we're doing here, and the restaurant is almost secondary to that. If people come in and say, you know, I love what I'm eating here, I could do this every day, and so how do we teach how to do that? So the books are great resources. We've had most of the authors of these books. So Rip Esselstyn was in here a few months ago, and that was very well attended by the ladies because he's a nice looking guy.
Sorry, I didn't mention that, did I?
Well, now everyone's got to fed up.
So T. Colin Campbell, Dr. Esselstyn, Caldwell Esselstyn, Michael Greger. So all the leaders in nutrition have come through here and done lectures. Some of the lectures are on our website, so if you go to, you can actually listen to those as well.
Oh, and the website is, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
greenfair.com.
Okay. Just greenfair.com.
Greenfair.com. And so, you know, you guys touched on why I was shopping. The 21-day Kickstart program, which is offered here at Green Fair. And not only do you help people, I guess, start it, but you also coach them through their journey by giving them resources such as this, the prepared meals as well, and really checking in on them to see how they're doing from beginning to end. And we are excited because we've got 3 people that are here today, or two people that are going to share their testimonials with us with good things.
Technically 3 if you count Gwen. I mean, she is a testimonial herself.
Well, absolutely, and that's what is so wonderful, I think, about Green Fair, is because I'm always that one that's like, practice what you preach. And so and I think my parents were that way, and so I've always tried to live that way. But I think that it's great to have someone who is not only doing that and wanting to reach out and teach someone, but really does embody that. And you're not shy about telling people about your own journey to it, as you did with us earlier. And so I think that's also important, because that's a little bit of, I think, kind of reality, right?
Yeah.
For that. So, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to let Gwen take over, because she's our co-host today, right? And we're going to let her.
She's an expert by now.
I know, right? She knows how this works. But we're going to let her, introduce you to the 21-day Kickstart program, I guess, participants that we have here today. And so you can learn a little bit about their testimonial and where they're at so far. And we're going to let you take it away, right? All right.
I've always had problems with my love handles and my lower abs. I was never quite able to get rid of that excess body fat around that area.
My abdomen area after having children. No matter what I was doing, I couldn't get it to look the way I wanted it to look.
I had a son who's just turned 4, and I'm older now, and I started getting the belly fat that wasn't going away with doing exercise.
No matter how much I changed the diet and how much I worked on my body, the problem areas remain there.
I couldn't take time off work or anything and didn't have time to really recover, so it was really important that this was something that you could keep moving on with your life.
I came right from work, came in, had the treatment done, the 25-minute treatment on the 4 different areas, and literally when I walked out the door, I drove right back to work and picked up where I left off.
I like the idea that, it's not invasive.
I want something that I can come do it and go home and go back to work without any issues. No downtime.
The process didn't require any anesthesia, no pain medication. It was easy.
It was great. I mean, I think the first time I actually went, I didn't go back to work. I actually went to the gym.
I've personally have had and seen really, really good results.
My first month, I noticed my flanks were going lower and lower. These used to be a size 36. No, I'm 34.
My stomach is flatter, it's more smooth.
I feel better, like your clothes fit better, they're not touching you the wrong way, they're hanging a little looser.
After the procedure, I definitely feel more confident that there's less of me there.
My brother definitely noticed. I didn't tell him what I was doing, but my brother, he's like, are you trimming up or something like that? Are you doing anything extra? I said, no, I'm just, doing my normal thing at the gym and things like that.
I'm proud. I'll lift my shirt up and show everybody my belly.
I'm very happy with making the choice to have the sculpture done.
It's a good feeling too. I mean, finally getting the results that I've been looking for forever.
And if you're a guy who cares for himself, then you want to do it. I mean, there's nothing to do. This is not just for women. We do it because for once, we have the technology available. And I think that we should take advantage of that.
I would rate my success of the procedure a 10. It was very positive. I'm very impressed with the results, and they have exceeded my expectations, definitely.
So I'm very fortunate to have John Foster and Evan Bass here that have both gone through the 21-day Kickstart program, and I'm going to ask each one just a little bit about their own journey. So John, you've been the longest on this lifestyle?
Yep. I started back, it was actually August 8th, a year ago, was my, I'll say, anniversary, if you will. Gwen and I met at a farmer's market, and that's what actually got me into the restaurant. And so August 8th, I started the 21-day Kickstart program, and when I started, I was 256, and it was
pounds.
That was pounds, 256 pounds. And I started, and 21 days later, I was 13 pounds lighter. And as a result of that, it really caused me to continue this lifestyle. So since August 8th of last year, I've been vegan, and it has been the best thing I've ever done.
Very good. Have you had any other than weight loss?
Well, I have also, my blood pressure's down, acid reflux is gone. And the other kind of thing, which is, I'll say, strange, is a guy saying, "Is it my skin is different?" Mm-hmm. It's smoother, and
his skin does look really good. I gotta say, it's much better than mine. But I don't even. It's unbelievable.
He's actually quite beautiful.
Yeah. But it really, truly has been a transformation, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm grateful for being here.
Yes, thank you, John. And Evan, you're one of our more recent Kickstarters that went through the program. Can you tell us how you found us?
Sure. I started to make a bit of a transition a long time ago from cutting out red meat to just eating, chicken and fish, thinking that was health food. I also experimented briefly with my very own Evan tomato-only diet, which I do not recommend. There's a reason why it's not on the bestseller list. Not a good idea. So I kind of transitioned eventually towards vegetarian kind of things, with a lot of help from my girlfriend and her sister, who were very much into it. And I kind of just followed their lead because what they made was good. But basically, I was still having a lot of issues with my fitness, for my fitness goals. I went from being morbidly obese when I was 40 years old. I was close to 300 pounds. to eventually losing about 130 pounds and becoming a top runner for my age group in road races, 5Ks and so forth. But I really plateaued and I started to get injured a lot. And I had to cancel a lot of races. And I wasn't really experiencing the things that I thought I would be able to experience. And I started to really get very curious about 21-day kickstart. And what really got me there, though, was that I kept asking Gwen questions, and she kept responding. She kept responding and answering, being patient, and giving me really good information. And finally I said, all right, I'm gonna do it. And I did it, and immediately after I did it, I ran actually 15 miles with my girlfriend in preparation, training for a marathon. And the very next day, 24 hours later, I won this little wooden medal, which was for winning my age group, men 40 to 49. I'm closer to 49 than 40, in a local 5K. And I was actually fourth in the whole race. I was only beaten by 2 high school kids and another guy who was 17 years younger than me. I beat everybody else. The difference is that to be able to do that one day after running 15 miles, this show, I understand, is seen in over 150 countries around the world. You tell me, if running 15 miles one day and winning a 5K with a 20:36 time, for any of you who know anything about that, the next day is significant. And it didn't stop there. The next week, I ran 20 miles by myself at an 8:21 pace and felt no pain at all. Doesn't happen. Yesterday I ran 22 miles at an 8:40 pace. And then this morning I ran 7 miles with some friends. And the reason you're probably like, oh my God, this guy's an egotistical maniac. Okay, look, here's what I'm saying about this. The fact that I can recover faster from a plant-based diet enables me to do things like go for a run with my girlfriend as she's training for her first marathon, which she is terrified of. But I can be there with her for this race. I can get her through that. I can help friends of mine that I used to work with from all these countries around the world, get them ready for the Army 10-miler race the day after running a long distance myself. So it gives me the chance to extend more of myself, the very little bit that's useful to people, to basically help other people achieve their goals in some way. And I want to make this actually a worldwide challenge. If you're out there and you run at all, your challenge for the next year is find somebody to help. Find somebody to be there for. Life is not about how many people show up for you, it's about how many people you show up for. And you have the ability, you have the capability to be there for somebody and help them achieve something they didn't think they could ever do. And this menu, which by the way, has more options than you would ever contemplate. Gwen asked me the hardest question I've been asked in 10 years. She said, which one of the dishes do you like the best? That's a perfectly legitimate question. People would ask that. I couldn't tell her. They're all great. And so my little brain just said, oh, the last one I ate, it must have been that. And it was fantastic. So, I mean, the food is fantastic. And basically, it can give you the chance to do things that you just did not know that you could do and extend yourself to other people in ways that really do matter to them. So that is my very long, drawn-out answer to a very simple question, but I can't help it. I'm from New York. I talk a lot. This is me. So thank you.
Hey everyone, so I know, it just seems like we just appeared, right? And we did, we were busy, we were in the kitchen, I'm sorry. We got hungry and
they gave us a little snack too, and it was amazing.
We were trying a few things, but thank you, Gwen, thank you for taking over.
You are a great co-host.
You're a natural.
Holding us here.
And thank you both. You know, I think what's so important, and one of the things that we do try to impart on Good Things every week, is definitely giving something to everyone that maybe will help them to not only live a better life, you know, on the outside, but on the inside.
Exactly.
And, you know, overall, there's so many ways to have a good life and to be happy and to be whole. But I think that as you said so remarkably, that it is about what you impart on to others and what you know, being there for others, so that you know, one day maybe comes full circle and they're there for you as well. And I think what you offer here, Gwen, and what Green Fair offers to the entire community is
It's
just
a family.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a family, and it's a network of support for something that will continue, I think, to grow bigger and bigger. And you know, when you're nourished from the inside out, I think that you just have a different presence about you. And like you said, you do kind of have a glow, that vegan glow.
He's got the glow. He's got the great skin. You know,
everybody has the vegan glow.
But we are so happy and we're so thrilled, and we thank you for allowing Good
Thank
Things
you
in.
so much.
And thank you for being here. Thank you to Pericles. He is, you know, readily working, and we're going to soon get out of their hair because they are about to open. And Quinn, can you tell us real quick where Green Fair is located?
Sure, we're in it's known as the Kmart Shopping Center, although the Kmart has disappeared, in Herndon, Virginia. So if you're in DC, it's the last exit on the Silver Line and half a mile Uber ride out. It's 408 Eldon Street, and we're greenfair.com on Facebook, and you can follow. I do a newsletter every month, so when we have the lectures and events coming up, you can learn more about those.
And of course, you know, as everyone knows who watches us, and if you are just watching us for the first time, you can find this episode, if maybe you missed it, on Good Things DC on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And you can also find it at goodthingsdc.com. And you know what? We would love for you to tag us.
Yeah, if you come to Green Fair and you have a great meal, you know, tag Green Fair, tag Good Things DC, and let us know what you had and how you liked it. And we hope it'll change your life, and if nothing else, it'll make you think twice about what it really means to go plant-based. It doesn't have to be scary.
Yeah,
right.
No. We guarantee you, it will change your life. And to everyone out there joining us here at Good Things, to Green Fair, and to all of you, we thank you for being with us. And as a reminder, remember to love one another,
always be kind,
and do good things.
It's been a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.